Hello, my name is Ian Dunning from TradeTech Solutions. We are co-hosts and event organisers for ICC Ukraine's Rebuild Ukraine Forum. We have created this short video to explain our approach and methodology to creating presentation videos for this forum. You also see that we have structured this video to mirror how we plan to structure your video. That is, a personal opening message, then a series of slides with audio explanations, and a final personal closing message. So now you'll see how this opening message is integrated with a PowerPoint slides section.
We think a brief explanation for our approach will help you understand why we structure the video presentations as we do. People are overwhelmed by information. The only effective way to get your message through is by concentrating the message and keeping it simple. This is particularly the case when delegates to the forum are expected to sit through more than 20 presentations. It is our experience that most commercial presentations can be effectively delivered in 10 to 12 minutes. Any relevant details supporting the presentation can be provided in files that can be downloaded by those interested in that level of detail. The format proposed is designed precisely to provide this result. In this video, we will guide you through the process of creating your presentation video for ICC Ukraine's Rebuild Ukraine Forum in March 2025. There is no need to take any notes, as we have also prepared a briefing note for presenters that will have been sent to you by email, or you can download from the link shown in the final slide of this presentation. Here you will see how we will work with you to communicate your messages to the forum's delegates as clearly and precisely as possible. After the forum, for a period of 6 months until the next forum, your video presentation will remain online and made available to companies and organizations interested in participating in the Rebuild Ukraine program. Please note that on the day of the presentation, you will not be expected to present personally. However, the moderator will explain to delegates that they can contact you on the virtual stand that we will provide you. You will receive another video introduction which explains the virtual stand in more detail. Okay, so let's move into the details of what we need from you. This presentation covers everything that we both need to create your presentation video. The main points are as follows. Your bio helps to validate the presentation description. This definition helps quickly judge whether the presentation will be of interest to them. Video presentation, how this is constructed. We describe the 3 main sections of the video and how they support each other. Live recordings. These are actually pre-recorded, but they show the presenter's face, head, and shoulders and help to make the video personal and memorable. Video content. Here we describe the main elements that should be included in the presentation. Drafting audio text. Guidelines. These are suggestions to help the audio flow better and to ensure reasonably accurate translations of the text. Detail considerations. We ask you to produce your files in your mother tongue. We will take care of all translations. We confirm that you have full editorial control and copyright remains with the owner. You will also see which file formats we can expect. The final slide provides a summary and shows our contact details. Well, that's the introduction completed. Let's now move on to the details of what we will need. We would like to promote you as a presenter and your company or organization. The more detail we can provide here, the easier it is to attract the delegates who should be interested in your presentation. Of course, the bigger the interested audience, the better for everybody. In this slide, you can see the list of details we would like and an example of a speaker profile. As soon as you have them ready, please send us these by email. Now, let's move on to the structure of the video. We will need from you a short title, as in the example shown here, an introduction to the Rebuild Ukraine portal, a brief 2-line description of the presentation, for example, as shown here, a description of the main features of the portal, showing in practice how it integrates with and complements Dream, Prozoro, and the eTender platform. This is published in the schedule where delegates can see the presentation program, who is presenting, and decide which presentations are of interest to them, as we show in this slide. The video should consist of 3 parts: a recorded live opening statement, This is to introduce you as a person, your company or organization, and to give a brief explanation of what will be covered in your presentation. The main content is created from a PowerPoint presentation with audio text that you provide. A recorded live closing statement. This helps the audience to remember you and your presentation. You provide the opening and closing videos. We create the main content from your files. We then merge the 3 videos into a single video. Also, if different language versions of the video are needed, we will organize these. In the next slide, we provide some general suggestions for the recording of the opening and closing statements. If you need help recording the live opening and closing statements, please let us know. You can use a smartphone or your PC, for example, using Vimeo, to record your statements. When preparing to record, it's a good idea to find a time when you are relaxed and are in a quiet environment. Do not breathe too close to the microphone, otherwise there is a risk that heavy breathing is recorded. It is likely that your audio will be translated, and it is critical that you speak clearly and keep a steady tone, and do speak naturally. We suggest that you write out your text, print this, and place it such that you can read it, but are still looking directly at the camera. Once you've recorded it, before sending it to us, please review it and decide whether you should record it again. On the next slide, we make some suggestions regarding the content of your opening and closing statements. You should do 2 separate recordings, one for the opening statement and one for your closing statement. The opening statement does not have to be more than 1 minute, and the closing statement 30 seconds. All that is necessary is that you introduce yourself and the organization you represent. This establishes your authority over the subject. Then, give a brief description of the content of your video. This can be simply the title and brief description of the presentation and its purpose. The closing statement is really to thank the audience for listening, confirm how you can assist in the Rebuild Ukraine program, and that if anyone has any questions, they can visit your stand in the expo. As a guide, that's about 150 words for the opening text and 75 for the closing text. Of course, there is no problem if they are longer. As a final point, these 2 messages should flow naturally with your 2 opening and closing videos. Now we will move on to the content to be created from your PowerPoint presentation and audio text. You will receive an email covering the specific topics that you should cover. However, in general, the presentation headings that we would like you to cover. Introduction to the presentation. Agenda of the presentation. Presentation content. Conclusions. Organization's contact details, plus names of any files to be downloaded. Please send us these no later than 1 week before the day of the virtual event. In the next slide, we explain how you can provide us with the audio text for each slide. You should provide the text for the audio for each slide in a Word document, where it is clear which text is to be applied to each slide. Please note that you cannot leave a slide without text. The text for each slide determines how long the slide is shown. You cannot allocate a block of text to multiple slides. Each slide needs its own text. Also, try to imagine your words as if they are spoken to an audience. You should try to create a natural flow. On the next slide, we will provide some more suggestions to help not just the flow of speech, but also the translation into multiple languages. We have prepared a number of recommendations for you when you are drafting your audio text. Some of these are general in nature and are applicable to any audio PowerPoint presentation. Others are more to help you draft the text. These are there to help focus the message and to facilitate translations into other languages. Please remember that where necessary, we will translate these slides, and not just the audio. However, please also note, we cannot translate text that is embedded in any images. In the next slide, we will cover the final details we think should be covered by this presentation. The first recommendation is that you produce your videos and slides in your mother tongue. This will help you provide a much smoother experience for delegates and hopefully make it easier for you to produce your presentation. Although it is very likely that your presentation will be translated into other languages, we only need 1 language version for each presentation. We will take care of all necessary translations. WoW should know that we use artificial intelligence to prepare copies of the presentations in different languages. These translations will be made using your voice. However, we do not use avatars. Editorial control. In all cases where we produce a video for you, you will be able to review what we produce before it is published. Provided you send us the necessary files in time, you will then be able to request any changes to these draft videos. All copyright and intellectual property rights remain with their owners. Acceptable file formats. The principal file formats we can accept are shown here. If you have files in a different format, please let us know. For files in support of your presentation to be downloaded, we recommend PDF, but there is no particular limit as to format. You will be provided with a copy of your video presentation in MP4 format, together with any translations. You are free to use this however you wish. We've covered everything we need to create your presentation. It now just remains for us to provide a brief summary. Well, I hope that you have seen that it is not difficult to prepare the material that we need to create your video presentation. In summary, we just need from you the title of your presentation, a 2-line description of the content, your bio, your PowerPoint slide presentation, the Word document showing which text should be used against each slide, 2 videos where you are seen speaking, opening and closing the presentation. That's it. We'll take care of everything else. As I said at the beginning, you can also refer to the briefing note for presenters for any specific details or suggestions that you may need. You can find the link to this file in the description below this video. However, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me by email at the address shown here and included in the briefing note.
Hi. Before closing the video, I just wanted to repeat that before your video is published, you will have the ability to check it and request changes. But to do this, you must send us the files by the deadline. Once the original language video has been approved, using artificial intelligence, we will then generate the different language versions that have been agreed. You will, of course, be provided with MP4 copies of these videos, which you can use as you best think. We look forward to working with you, and again, thank you for your support for the Rebuild Ukraine programme.